One of the challenges that people are having with some at-home workouts is they were used to lifting heavy, and now they might not have access to the gym, or even if the gym is open, they might not feel comfortable going back. So it has been a complaint that I've heard from some of my clients personally that are doing some virtual training and doing some at-home workouts. So today I have a couple different variations to show about deadlifts, for example. A lot of people can go decently heavy with deadlifts, and they are such a great exercise. So they're touted around the fitness community as trying to build a better, stronger, rounder butt. But you'll also feel it in your hamstrings. You're going to feel it in your core, which also includes your back and your hips and your glutes too. Help stabilize that. You can also feel it in your upper back by trying to engage your lats, the big muscles that come down here, by keeping your shoulders back too. So they work a lot, and they're one of my favorite exercises for that reason. So one thing you can do is, if you don't have access to heavier weights, that's also been a complaint of people, is if they can even find heavier weights to order them, if they can find them, number one, and number two, they might be crazy expensive. So what you can do is, one of the adjustments you can make is to get a resistance band, which I have had no problem finding, and they're not crazy expensive either. So you'll kind of have it wrapped around either your kettlebell. You can kind of do the same sort of setup with a dumbbell as well, but you'll have it wrapped around like that. Then what you're going to do is you are going to step on the resistance band on either side and have this kettlebell positioned in between the arches of your feet, just like you would set up for a regular deadlift. And if you aren't really well versed in deadlifts, I do have a blog post on that. So you want to make sure you get down that hip hinge first, get that down really, really good, get down to the basics before you start adding in some different variations like I'll show you today. So these might be for more intermediate to advanced exercisers who really have that solid hip hinge down. Anyway, so you'll get yourself set up like this. You're gonna do your hinge back, so nice flat back, pushing your hips straight back, bending your knees a little bit, shoulders back. You're gonna pull all the way up, squeeze your butt, and then back down, making sure that you're putting it back down on the ground, in between, right back down, in between the arches of your feet. So what this will do is make this 15-pound kettlebell feel heavier and give me some more resistance if I don't have access to heavier weights, especially when I'm at the top of the lift. So it'll make it a little bit more challenging that way. If you have maybe one or the other and you don't have both, I'll show you a couple variations with these as well. So you have the option to do some single leg stuff, which automatically will make the move a little bit tougher. If you just have a resistance band, you can do a kickstand deadlift. So you're only going to use, basically you're going to deadlift on that front leg. You'll get set up, so you have the band underneath like the arch of your foot. Other foot's going to be back here just to kind of stabilize yourself a little bit, not all the way back into a lunge, pretty close to like that, a kickstand stance. Stand up nice and tall, and you're going to do that same hinge motion, so push your hips back, keeping your back nice and straight, chest up, and then pull all the way up. And then of course you can adjust your resistance. Like, that doesn't feel too much for me, so I'm going to pull that band under a little bit more, and all the way up. So when you go to stand, you'll feel that pulling in your back leg, pulling against the resistance of that band. You can also do the same with your kettlebell. Same idea, or dumbbell. You just might not be able to touch the floor with that one, and that, for this, all intents and purposes, that's okay for this. So hinge all the way back, all the way up, squeezing your glutes, driving those hips back, keeping your shoulders back nice and strong. Don't let it pull forward like that. Pull that shoulder blade back. If you want to take it a step further, you can do a single leg stiff leg deadlift. So it'll add a little bit more of a challenge. Same idea, nice flat back, keeping that shoulder packed, except you're going to add a little bit of balance work to it too, and it's going to make this front leg work a little bit harder. So you'll hinge forward and then come back up to standing. So you're really going to feel that up the back of your stationary leg. Soft knee, and back up. And then of course you could repeat that on the other side. And there's no harm if you feel like your balance is a little bit off, there's no harm kind of having your hand that's closest to the wall, or even a foam roller that's high enough, like just that little added bit that you can hang on to just to give yourself a little bit more balance when you're hinging back like that. So I hope those suggestions help maybe make things a little bit tougher if you're finding that you're not really getting enough out of like a traditional deadlift with the weights that you have at home. By just doing these, hopefully you can get access to a band, maybe make it a little bit tougher, or try some single leg variations too.